What's up, guys? I'm Matt Reisinger.
I'm Master Plumber Eric Ani.
The Build Show today, 3 innovations in 2024 that you probably don't know about in the plumbing world. Let's get going. All right, Eric, let's start with this side of the table. Most builders in America that are using PEX, meaning this plastic piping in their houses, whether it's PEX A or B, have a stub out in copper. And when I plumbed my house, I didn't want to do that. So what are my options if I don't want to do this? And why would I maybe want to break from tradition of having copper stubbing out of my house?
Well, so to answer your question, what can you do? So they make these bend supports, and there's a lot of different companies that make something similar. There's typically a bracket that would span between 2 different studs.
Yep.
And then you can snap these onto them. Maybe they ride along a channel or something like that. The example today, we're just going to show really the fact that you can insert the tubing onto this bend support.
And this one's meant to snap into a bracket.
It is. And if I just carefully pull this around the corner here.
By the way, that's PEX B, so it's a little stiffer.
It is.
PEX A.
It is. So now I've just created a bend support that could be my stub out in place of copper.
And look at that. It'll even still fit in a 2x4 cavity too, right?
It will. Okay. So here's a couple advantages why, or here's a couple of reasons that I think it's better. No fittings, right?
Yeah.
So now I've maybe I've got a home run, or this is connected to a main line overhead or below. And I've just decreased one joint in the system. Doesn't seem like a lot, but in my house alone, there's probably 15 different stub outs.
Wow.
16 different stub outs.
Yeah, we're talking ice maker. Well, maybe not for.
Oh, maybe there's even more. Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about stuff like that.
Anywhere you're gonna have an angle stop, basically.
Yeah, under cabinet. Under cabinet supplied to a
hot
sink.
and cold to a sink.
Every toilet. Yep. Every traditional floor set toilet's going to have one.
Yeah.
Whether it's, as long as it's coming out of the wall. And so you're just eliminating a certain amount of fittings in the whole installation.
It's like 15 fittings.
Look, every time you cut the pipe and put it back together, in theory, it's a leak path.
Yeah.
Right? A potential leak path.
So then why do people love these so much? What is it about that copper stubbing out of the wall that people like so much?
Well, so it's clean. It's straight.
Yeah.
It feels durable.
Yeah, that's true.
But I can prove all of that wrong. If we had this installed, I could show you that this little bracket here isn't super stout. I could, like everybody says in my comment section, the most controversial.
Is that right?
Yeah, the most controversial comment sections on my videos is this subject right here.
That's crazy.
They tell me over and over how the drywallers are just going to snap this off, or it's just going to break. There's no way it's as durable. I just like this better. Look, you can like it better. That's fine. But we're talking about is facts, right? So like the facts are there's no joint required. Oh,
look at that. I just did it wrong.
You did. No, it's okay.
So
Look,
that is interesting. You can bend it with making a wrong bend.
you can. You just have to be a little more
You just
patient.
got to be patient.
I think your superhuman strength
Well,
is
that's
really
true.
what
That
we're
is
up
true.
against.
I do have man hands.
So if we just kind of go a little slower
You can get it around.
and get it around there without kinking it.
There you go. That's it. Oh, you're so close.
I'm so close. Well, anyway. it is doable. You saw me do it there.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is a little,
too.
yeah, this is a little more flexible piping, but I think maybe we flexed it a little too much with this sample. But either way, you've got the ability to go around corners
Now you got it.
and stub out in PEX versus copper. Look, I think it's obvious I prefer this.
Yeah. I did this at my house too. Now, one mistake I made, though, to be honest, is when these stub out of my house, I actually wanted the plumber to come a little further than normal. So if I ever needed to change that angle stop in 25 years, I could simply cut the pipe and pop a new one on with an expansion tool. And so I forgot to put my chrome sleeve on there that they make.
Yeah, well, okay, sure. That's a great point, though. You can cover up that plastic. That's one of the comments I see over and over in my videos. Is well, the copper looks nicer.
Yeah.
Okay, I totally give you that. They do make these nice sleeves that can go over the copper or the PEX.
Yep.
And you can get them in different colors. Typically chrome, but you can actually get them in all sorts of colors.
And by the way, these bend supports could also be used in the wall or just in your general system, even if you're not stubbing out, to reduce a fitting. So, something about 90s, I like to eliminate as many 90s as possible.
Yeah.
And look at that. That could be just stuck in a wall or a ceiling or wherever. and that's going to eliminate having to put that 90 in there. So I'm a big fan of these bend supports. I've also seen when you plumbed your bathroom in your shop, use the specific brand called Hold Right.
Yeah.
And they seem to have some really nice solutions. So that's my first innovation that I think not everybody knows about in the plumbing world.
Controversial too, you know.
For sure. Let's go to number 2.
Yeah. Now I get excited about these. So you could get these types of fittings in all types of flavors, right? So these happen to be the ones we've got. We've got 2 different types. We've got PEX A, or the expansion PEX type of fitting, and then I've got a B here with the Viga, the stainless steel press sleeves on it.
So would I call this a manifold, or would I call this a multi-port, or what's the right word for these?
Yeah, well, I think the manufacturers are calling them different names. Manifold is great for me. I understand exactly what you're saying. They are also called multi-port tees, depending on who you're buying it from.
Multi-port tee, there you go.
Yeah, and so we've got a couple different ones. So the one you're holding has, what, 5 different half-inch openings on it?
Yeah, and this is a closed end,
Yep.
but you've got a flow-through.
Yeah, so you're going to have a main line. This is going to be installed like on a main line, water flowing through it and branching off down to 3 different fixtures.
Mm-hmm.
I can then take shorter runs down to maybe from overhead or below to a bathroom group. So this is perfect.
So if that was hot, that would make a lot of sense because you could flow through it with a. Am I getting ahead of you here?
No, it's so. That's what makes
line.
these so. No, that's what makes these so cool. Is that now I can recirculate. I can put a return line, dedicated return, back to the water heater. But look at that. So 3 different tees. In between the tees, you've got a minimum amount of piping that you have to maintain because this is expansion PEX, so you can't have really super short pieces. But just in between 2 tees, you've got 2 different connections there, and then 2 on the outside, so that's 4. We had a third, now we've got 6 connections. With this one alone, we eliminate the connections in between the tees here.
Yeah,
okay,
huge.
Less leak paths, less.
This is at least 4 less connections in this, right?
It is, and
1,
it works
2,
out.
3, 4.
It works out to be more compact too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because now you're not spread out.
Correct.
But you're going to spend a few more bucks on that.
You are, but look at this is less parts.
Mm-hmm.
It is, not as versatile. Like AT alone by itself can be used anywhere in the system.
Yeah.
But if I'm plumbing a new construction house and I'm doing distribution, I want to be as efficient as possible.
Yes.
Okay, I want to use the least amount of pipe,
For sure.
the least amount of connections because that's time.
Yep.
It's also less leak paths.
Yep.
And also, I've got the ability with a fitting system like this and the tees as well, but I have the ability to do like a recirc very efficiently, get the water to where it needs to be very fast.
I like that.
I love that.
Now,
Customers like these too.
And you showed that in A, but the other manufacturers are making it for other flavors and varieties.
Yeah,
of
this just
fittings,
happened to
right?
be, I grabbed it out of one of the bins in my shop, but this is just 2-port, of course. But this would be a very typical main line going through to a bathroom group, and let's say
a sink and a toilet.
sink and a toilet.
2 cold lines.
Yeah, or a bathtub and a sink.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Right, so you full bath. You've got supply to a shower valve, and you've got supply to a lavatory.
Yeah, there's your hot line, and
your
then
hot.
that's your circ because it's
And then you
flowing
circ
through.
all the way through.
Makes a lot of sense.
These-
I don't think everybody knows about these.
Well, so these are super well liked in just the speeding up the installation. And then, like I said, look, we've got codes that are putting mandating recirc depending on how large the system is, saving energy, saving water.
Yep.
And we could do that really easily just with one device versus many.
Yeah. Saving fittings is what I like about both of these. We're saving fittings, meaning there's one less chance for a leak. There's one less chance for human error. There's one less part in the system that could be a failure. I like both those.
Well, like the bend supports, less joints. Honestly, I'd like to remind people, it's not about the one individual bathroom.
Yep.
It's the whole house. It's the many houses over and over.
Yeah.
Saving fittings.
For
Less
sure.
leak paths.
All right, and the third innovation that not everybody knows about it, and I randomly came across this and asked you about it. We've seen these fittings. They're kind of the Kleenex brand, Shark Bite. They've actually been in the industry 20 years now. 2004 is when they were introduced. We've got a brand new version that kind of stood out to me when I was grabbing some parts for a video. Max, Shark Bite Max. What is this, Eric?
Well, so they made some innovations to a push to connect fitting. Shark Bite did, and by the specs are what's different, but you could just visually identify them.
So this is all brass, but this one seems to have some stainless on it.
Yeah, so they reinforce the fitting and the connection points with this stainless. So Now they're saying that this is rated up to 250 psi
Holy cow.
at 250 degrees.
Dang.
Or 200 degrees, something like that.
Something like that.
It's crazy. I think, maybe we could put the specs on the screen.
Sounds good.
But the point is they've also increased the flow rates and made it easier to install. So the old system has these little inserts in the end of it. So if you're using it with PEX that reinforce the flexibility of the wall of the pipe.
Mm-hmm. But now, this pinches the pipe down a little bit too, doesn't it?
It does. It decreases a little bit of flow. Anytime you're going to have something inside of the pipe, it's going to do that. Mm-hmm. Now they remove that within max fitting. It's not in there anymore. So this, not sponsored by SharkBite, but it's pretty innovative, really.
Yeah, so when you look through this guy, you can see those. And when you look through the max, there's no supports in there. So in theory, you'd have a little bit higher flow. But it's interesting. I wonder if they've engineered, and this was not in our specs, but they've engineered something a little differently on the inside there to be able to get that higher PSI. I don't know what it is, but that's pretty fascinating.
I think, it has something to do with the stainless steel rings that are holding that on the pipe.
So that's SharkBite Max. Eric, thanks for joining me in the studio.
I appreciate it.
Guys, if you don't know Eric Ani, he is a master plumber out of Minnesota that's shooting videos on thebuildshow.com. But even more importantly, we got to tell you about our brand new series that Eric and I just came out with called Talking Trades, where I went around and spent a day as an apprentice with 4 different tradesmen and women. I spent a whole day as Eric's apprentice, and then we spent some time in his shop talking about his career, how he got into it, how much money he makes, what he likes about his job, what's hard about his job, how do you become a plumber. This is a series you need to take your teenager or your elementary school kid off the video games they're watching on the weekends, sit down on the couch with a bowl of popcorn, and watch all 3 of those episodes. They're on thebuildshow.com right now. It's called Talking Trades. That hamburger menu in the top left, go to Build Original Series, go to Talking Trades, and right now we've got the first 4 episodes released. We're coming soon with more. I've got 3 more tradesmen and women that we're going to talk to besides Eric, so go check that out. In the meantime, at Mechanical Hub on Instagram, and of course all his videos on thebuildshow.com. Guys, follow us on TikTok or Instagram, otherwise we'll see you next time on The Build Show.